I've made quite a few videos for all my Warframe veterans, and frankly, I think it's time to retire you guys for a bit. I've had enough of talking to Grandpa and Grandma, and now instead I want to call to the cool new kids on the block who've just picked up Warframe. So if you're from the Warframe retirement home, sorry mate, but this video isn't meant for you. So you may just want to click off and go watch that build video on how to do 50 bajillion damage using the combination of potent sweat and the sadness of loneliness as your status inflicted. Now, if you've clicked onto this video as a new Warframe player and you don't know who I am, welcome. I'm Zov. I'm a failure of a streamer who has been playing Warframe for a few months now and who can empathize with your position as a noob who has no clue what the hell is going on. This video isn't for specific advice or a tutorial on what precisely to do when you boot up the game, because I think YouTube has so many videos like that already. So if you're looking for something like that, I'm sorry to disappoint, but hey, hopefully you enjoy watching this too. I will eventually be compiling all of the advice given to me by Warframe veterans, but for now I wanted this video to be less specific and more hearty, with words straight from my feelings instead of a wiki, if that makes sense. I wanted this to be a video that if I was to go back into the past, it would be helpful to me before I ventured into the world of Warframe. So again, if you're looking for specific instructions on what to do and how to do it, please click off now because this video wasn't made for you. I'm just here to have a general heart-to-heart with the Warframe noobs such as myself with things I wish I knew before getting into Warframe. Okay, now those guys have gone. For a bit of backstory as to myself and to how I found Warframe, I personally came into Warframe with a dead heart and sleepy eyes, fueled by rage and sadness that my once beloved game, Apex Legends, being sad that it no longer gave me that lovely dopamine oomph. Searching for anything new to fill the void, to fill that gaming hole inside of me, gaping and oozing and pussy and all of that wonderful stuff. And upon finding Warframe, I became a wide-eyed babe, wandering through a never-ending wilderness with hope and optimism. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't really love at first sight with Warframe. Unfortunately, the first few hours were hard, to be brutally honest, but after wading through the jungle that is Warframe, eventually I found a game that I can now comfortably say I look forward to playing every other day. Remember, I am not a Warframe veteran or someone with a lot of hours in the game. I'm just Sov, a teeny tiny kind of newbie Warframe player who just loves gaming in general. And yeah, like I've said before, this isn't a tutorial either. I'm talking about the broad advice here on a very non-literal level. I'm not here for the facts, I'm not here to be meta, I'm here for the funsies and to try help people out. So, to be brutally honest, in my opinion, Warframe has a very rough entry. I know it's a bit of a shit cop-out answer from me, but unfortunately, for me, Warframe wasn't that fun in the beginning. I feel like one of the only ways of getting past this initial slog is to have a friend with you to help guide you. But saying this, I'm not saying that you can't play this game alone. But understand this before you get into Warframe. The reason why so many veterans love watching new players is precisely because they understand that the barrier to entry is so high. If you're the lone wolf type of gamer, which honestly, now that I say that out loud, I'm pretty much the lone wolf type of gamer as well. If you're the lone wolf type of gamer who doesn't like socializing whilst you play games, you're not screwed precisely. But just understand that going into Warframe as a new player, especially the first 30, 40, 50, god, maybe even up to 100 hours or so, you will probably get lost at times and need to pop over to Google to figure out what to do. This can be something simple like wondering how to increase your damage or where to go next in the map, or Warframers call this the star chart, how to get certain materials, and things like that. So if you want a game that holds your hand and guides you gracefully whilst you get through these first parts of the game, which will take you a decent amount of time by the way, this isn't a quick thing, and you also want a solid tutorial, Warframe may not be the game for you. So my first piece of advice for anyone looking to get into Warframe is to grab a friend who's played Warframe before to walk you through things the first time you play. And if that isn't available to you, just get used to Googling shit. But if you don't mind socializing, seriously, don't hesitate in asking for help. Think of it like this, Warframe was first released in 2013, over 10 years ago. That generation of gamers who grew up learning Warframe are now probably well into their 20s, like myself, 30s or 40s. But the mantle of gaming generally has to be passed across to younger generations to keep the industry going. And doing that with Warframe and its decade worth of content is an intimidating prospect for anyone, young or old. But if Warframe doesn't have that consistent influx of new generations playing the game, like new players coming in consistently, well, as a live service game, it will eventually die, and the Warframers will all cry, myself included. So don't make them cry. Please don't make me cry. Ask for help. We don't mind. And I say we, I mean they. They genuinely don't mind. They'll be more than happy to help. Veterans, please back me up on this. So tip number 1, grab, make, or find a friend. Or get used to using the Warframe wiki if you're like me and you're a lone wolf. Except I don't use the wiki, I rely on the power of friendship. However, speaking of making friends, also don't let people dictate how you play the game. This may not make sense now to a new player who's just venturing into Warframe or hasn't even begun, but Warframe has quite a lot of optimization involved if you want to be the most efficient at clearing different missions. But if you're anything like me, I don't care about things dying the quickest in a PvE game. I just want to kill stuff with style and in the most entertaining way possible. This is a playstyle that sometimes seems to elude a few Warframe players who look at my Warframe builds with frustration and try to micromanage the out of me. Please, I've put X on instead because this group of people are vulnerable to... Okay, let me stop you there, bud. Because frankly, I do not care. If it's an issue, I'll figure it out and try something else after a death or so. It's no big deal. Being constantly told how to quote-unquote fix your builds or fix how you play after a while can be mind-numbing and off-putting, especially as a new player. And as they say, the best teacher is failure. How can new players be expected to learn by having the most optimized build spoon-fed to them from the very beginning? So my advice to you as a new player is to try things out, embrace failure, don't be scared of it, and also don't feel bad in ignoring advice so you can play for yourself and figure out what you like, even if it takes you longer to accomplish things. If you like experimenting, then this game will be a warm, giddy, but also quite long dream for you. If you don't like experimenting, then trust me, you have so many resources at your fingertips to help you commit war crimes in the most efficient fashion possible, even if they're not in-game ones. So tip number 2, optimize for your fun, not necessarily all the time for strength. The next thing I'd do is I'd warn myself that Warframe can be super grindy, but the grind is fun most of the time. Some people have told me that if I feel like Warframe is grindy, then I've been playing Warframe completely wrong. But frankly, I don't know what the hell these people are smoking. The game is grindy. It has a lot of requirements to build, complete, and do things in order to progress to other things. Some of the requirements being based around time. More on that later. However, what Warframe will do is it will respect your time. You're in the middle of farming for X thing? Well, that's cool, but on the same planet you're farming for X, you can do this boss, which is also cool. And by doing this boss, you complete this planet, which will lead you to this new planet, where you can also get the mats for this other thing you need as well. Do you see the gist I'm trying to put down here? It's never just a grind for one thing, right? Which, if that's done by itself, can be a piss take. But in Warframe, by achieving one thing, you open the path to achieve other things as well. And bada bing, bada boom, the grind becomes more tolerable. Almost exciting in a way, as you find yourself branching out without even trying. In the same vein, however, this way of playing as a new player is incredibly intimidating. And I realize that. Trying to keep track of what you're doing and why, when faced with so many different mechanics, can be tough. If you don't like that sort of branching gameplay, you may not enjoy Warframe. I know at first I wasn't the biggest fan myself. And honestly, it was probably the biggest factor that almost made me put down the game. However, how I personally got over this is eventually I just learned to be hard-headed and I made myself a Warframe notebook. I made myself a goal, and no matter how shiny anything else looked, I refused to stray from my initial goal every single day. I wielded my nerdy Warframe notebook, wrote the things down that I needed to do, and I did them first. Then I allowed myself to be distracted by the shinies. So tip number 3, get yourself a nerdy Warframe notebook. If you're good at keeping track of stuff, congratulations, you'll do great even without the notebook. Another bit of advice I want to give is that the beauty of Warframe lies in making micro goals and achieving them. not in the understanding of Warframe as a whole, especially not at the beginning of your Warframe journey. If you're going into Warframe as a newbie wanting linear gameplay or a linear story or simplicity in general, then honestly quit the game now and save yourself some time. Nothing about Warframe is straightforward, in my opinion. It's a head scratcher in pretty much every single way possible. You know, obviously bar the pew pew kill stuff thing, that's pretty simple. This took me so long to understand, and frankly, once I got it through my head that I won't be finishing Warframe anytime soon, I started enjoying the game so much more. The only thing that stops me from playing Warframe for hours at a time is the fact that for me personally as a player, it does impact my mechanical skill after a while. The movement is the best I've ever experienced in a video game, yes, but on a mechanical level, it does not scratch that itch aim-wise that other more competitive shooter games will hit. I do notice a significant decrease in my accuracy when I play my normal shooter games such as Apex after a few long Warframe sessions. So if you're a shooter nerd such as myself, keep that in mind. You can pick up weapons that are more centered around accuracy and precision aiming, yes. And frankly, there's no shortage of any type of weapon at all in Warframe. But I feel like generally AoE weapons are a bit more popular and for good reason. Just keep up on the Kovacs and you'll be fine. So advice number 4. In my opinion, Warframe is all brain, no aim. Mostly. Depending on how you play. Deal with that as you will. As for the story, look. Honestly, just between you and me, it's what the industry calls a slow burner. The main reason for this being because of the barriers to getting to those meaty campaign missions. You won't be able to smash out campaign quest after campaign quest immediately. They also separate the story quests into their own mini segments / missions for a few of them, which I am personally not a fan of. A few veterans have described the story as Dark Souls-esque in the sense you have to seek it out specifically. And to be honest, I haven't played enough of the campaign to comment, but that seems about right. All I can say is that the premise of the game isn't presented to you in a neat little linear package right from the get-go. It's drip-fed to you through various methods. What you get is good, if not a bit confusing at times, but if you enjoy sci-fi at all, you'll enjoy the vibes. Again, embrace the confusion with the understanding, or hope, that you will be enlightened at some later point. Or you can go off and search for lore videos, of which there are many available to you. So advice number 5. Learn to be okay with feeling lost in Warframe. Make your peace with knowing you will not understand everything anytime soon as a new player. As for the game's monetization strategy, if you're like me and you're still waiting on the Jeff Bezos sugar daddy, the game is pretty fair in its monetization strategy in my opinion. If you have money to throw at Warframe, the only thing you'll be saving is time. Otherwise, everything is available to get in-game by throwing time and in-game resources at it. Don't be afraid if, like me, you also have £2.30 in your bank account and don't have these resources to put into Warframe. It doesn't penalise you. And that seems to be incredibly rare these days in the gaming industry. I appreciate it and I enjoy it. So you don't have to worry about that. Start the game in peace, knowing that the game studio developing Warframe isn't licking their chops and staring directly at your wallet the whole time you're playing. Last but not least, and the most important tip, have fun. Warframe can be a hard game to get into, and the nature of it means it can be overwhelming at times. But at the same time, it is precisely because Warframe is the way that it is that results in there being so many options available to you. You're getting bored of fighting? Hey, why don't you do some fishing instead whilst rocking out to some music? You don't like fishing? No problem. Why don't you spend hours trying to make your Warframe look as pretty as possible? Likelihood is, you'll find something in Warframe that makes you smile at that particular moment in time. Whatever it may be. It's that vast of a game. But if it doesn't make you happy, if Warframe doesn't make you happy, if anything doesn't make you happy, if any game doesn't make you happy, take a break, step off your PC or your console and take a breather. Get yourself a nice cup of tea and take care of yourself. Games are meant to make you happy and Warframe is no exception. Everything will be there tomorrow for you to enjoy. So finally, my last tip is, have fun, enjoy, and find your Warframe. Figure out what your fun looks like in Warframe and play your little gamer heart out. Okay, that's it. That's everything I've got down for now. I really do hope this video was useful to you. And if it was, please make sure you do the typical YouTube stuff. Drop a follow, like, subscribe, comment, and the usual lovely stuff. I really do enjoy talking to people, so you'd make my day if you drop by either my Twitch or my YouTube live streams. I'm live every week with my Warframe shenanigans. All the best. Dov. Streamer, Beamer, and currently Warframe Beamer.